Hello everybody, K-Whip here, and welcome to another episode of This Week in Trials. And in this week of Trials, we have the first week of this new meta with the Special Ammo Drought, and Bungie has decided to give us the map Black Shield, which is notoriously probably the most campy Trials map ever, so great work, Bungie. But looking past that, we'll start off with our usual weapon suggestions, and fitting with the theme of the meta, we'll start with primary suggestions. I'm going to start off what I think the strongest primary for this map is, and that is the No Land Beyond, the most non-primary thing that you can use, being a sniper rifle. But the reason that No Land is so strong on this map is that it is so campy, and people will sit indoors or camp outdoors, and there's going to be a lot of standoffs where it's going to be very difficult for you to get a peek with any normal primary. So the No Land will be a huge asset as it gives you that one-hit kill ability, so you can get picks against the opposite team while they're sitting in one position. And it's much more reliable to do that with No Land because you will always have ammo for it, unlike every other sniper in the game, except for Icebreaker. However, if sniping isn't your thing, or maybe you're not good with the No Land, some other good options for getting picks, especially when people are camping in those buildings, is to pick a high aim assist scout rifle. And some examples of these would be the Mida Multi-Tool and the Jade Rabbit. I think each are fantastic scout rifles for this map. The Jade Rabbit has the ability to 3-shot headshot, and the Mida can 4-shot, and they are both pretty high on the time to kill spectrum, and with that large aim assist, you're going to be getting some bullets to register around walls and around corners, so this will help you get picks as long as you're hitting all your crits. As well as they're strong weapons for this map because they can cover just about any range that you're actually going to be in on this map, so those strong scout rifles will do very well. Another good option is to pick a pulse rifle that has some solid range, like maybe a Hawksaw with a range perk, and even something like a Parthian shot could maybe do well. With that 2-burst kill ability, it may help you to get some picks while people are camping. When it comes to auto rifles, I don't think this is the best map for it. It's a bit long range for auto rifles, and you won't consistently have sniper ammo to fall back on, except for maybe if you're running an Icebreaker. But even then, I'd say pulses are probably going to do better in most ranges on this map, or hand cannons in the very close range. And speaking of hand cannons, also would not really recommend them unless you are running an Icebreaker, or if you think you can camp it out and get some normal sniper ammo. But that won't be something you can rely on a ton. And if you do not have sniper ammo and you're left with just a hand cannon, there's a whole lot of ranges on this map where you're going to struggle a little bit. So hand cannons, even with how good they are right now, are a little risky. So moving on to special weapon suggestions, I'd say shotgunning is completely pointless on this map. I wouldn't have even recommended it last meta probably. I'd say fusion rifles, there are actually a couple ranges where fusions could do pretty well, but you're not going to consistently have ammo, so I'd probably would pass on that. Sniper rifles, you're going to see a lot of Icebreakers, and Icebreaker will be a good tool for you, as you can consistently have that ammo. And then I think you actually could run other sniper rifles if you want to, because the matches in Trials right now are playing quite slow, so you may be able to play for that special ammo and get some of that. But the big one in this meta, and I'm sure if you've played Trials at all already, you know it, is Sidearms. Everybody is using Sidearms. It's the one way where you will have special ammo every single time you spawn, and you can have a reliable special weapon. So I'd recommend Sidearms with most of your loadouts because it'll be the most consistent option for you. So Sidearms are definitely a strong option right now, and probably for the rest of Trials and the rest of this meta. But that's it for weapon suggestions. Moving on to subclass suggestions, I'm going to start off with Hunters. I would say Golden Gun is actually probably the best option for this map. I think any of their grenades that you go for can be used effectively on this map. I went with trip mines and found that I could use them effectively inside as well as around the B flag area. However, the strongest thing about running Gunslinger is definitely Golden Gun. It is an extremely powerful super on this map. As I've said on this map, there's a lot of long lines of sight where people are going to be camping, and having that one-shot capability with Golden Gun from far ranges is extremely helpful. So that would be my pick for Hunter. For Warlocks, I think that Voidwalker is probably the best option. Axion bolts are very effective inside and outside, getting people moving around and tagging people up. However, I would say Storm is actually probably still a pretty solid option because with the smaller amount of special ammo around, Stormcaller is going to be extremely hard to stop. So if you're maybe the main Slayer on your team, you might want to go with Stormcaller, as you can get that roaming super earlier in the game and probably be able to pick up some team wipes using it. Lastly, for Titans, I think that Striker is the best option. Lightning Grenades are awesome, and with the accidental nerf to Cauterize, Sunbreaker isn't quite as powerful now. So I'd probably stick with Striker. I would maybe throw Death from Above on, as it'll be easier to get kills with your smash outside if you're using that. so that can get you a bit more range with your super if you're feeling you need that. Now onto some other advice. The cap point is exactly where the B flag spawns on the outside here, and you're probably going to run into a lot of situations where one team is going to be camping and holding this cap point while the other team sits inside. So just be ready for a whole lot of scenarios like that and scory farming and that whole deal. And this is where I think you especially need a sniper to try to get some picks, unless you want to wait the full minute and a half till cap point comes. But moving past that depressing part of trials and going into my heavy ammo advice, the heavy ammo spawns just at the outside where heavy spawns in every other game mode, but on the outside. And this heavy round is kind of interesting. Neither side really has much of an advantage, and the heavy usually doesn't even really come into play. What this round does is forces both teams outsides and make them match up head to head. And so for this round, you kind of want to play it normally. Definitely don't let them get the heavy ammo, but also don't run in blindly for the heavy yourself, because it's in a very open position where they most likely have eyes on it from either side and they can easily pick you off. So I'd say look for some picks before you try to make a play on heavy. A great way to do this is to try to throw some nades by the special boxes. A lot of times that's where people will run to try to get an angle on heavy. Or you can run to kind of the B platform and try to head glitch or something like that to try to get a pick. And so that's what I'd recommend on heavy. Last couple things I'd have to say, if you do go inside, I would recommend lobbing nades to the opposite end at like the start of every round. You can get a lot of picks doing that, and other teams will probably do that to you as well. And if the other team does come inside with you, that's a good way to have the early advantage. And then that's probably going to do it for all my advice for trials this week. Both me and a whole lot of people in the community have always thought that this is one of the campiest and slowest and most boring maps in trials ever, so I'm quite confused that they chose this map for the first week of this new meta, which is already quite controversial and has a lot of people not wanting to play the game. So like I said, interesting decision by Bungie. Personally, I don't think I'm going to be playing a whole lot of trials this week. I'll probably stream after this video goes up for a little bit on my Twitch, but I'm probably just going to hope that next weekend brings us a better map. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and see you later.